Hi, this is Anna, and this is Check It at the Round Table, where we discuss movies, books, music, and stuff. Today, we're discussing when you've booked a flight and an apartment 3 months in advance, and then find out 10 days before you leave, it's a no-go because of COVID restrictions. What do you do? Well, yesterday morning, I was having a lovely chat with one of my friends in the country that I was getting ready to go to in 10 days, and they said, Anna, I know you booked your flight back in June. I know you've booked your apartment back in June too, because you really overthink things. But you might want to double check this little thing about this visa requirement that they've attached to the government website, because I don't know if you're going to be able to come, even though it says you should, as a U.S. citizen, be able to travel here without any problem, and your airline told you you could. I really think this could be a problem, and you don't want to get kicked out of the country when you land at like 7 p.m. at night, and you have everything in order for your trip. So I contacted some groups on Facebook asking, what's your opinion on this? I then found out that they all said, yeah, there's this little glitch that's happening. I'm like, okay, why didn't anyone tell me about this glitch before I booked my flight? Like the airline, and I called the airline, they're going, no, you don't need a special visa or anything. And then they're going, oh, if we go to this screen, it says you do. And I'm going, why couldn't you have gone to that screen in June? But anyway, so I'm sitting there at about 10 a.m. in the morning after having 2 sugar-free A&W root beers, because when I am stressed, I need diet pop or diet carbonated drink that is watered down. So anyway, with ice, it helps me think better. And I didn't have coffee that morning, which was probably one of the worst decisions I've made of the week. But I'm sitting there going, okay, we're having an internal panic moment. I'm thinking of Robert Kyler sitting there as Deary going internally panicking. I'm going, I'm kind of internally panicking because I've given notice on my apartment. Everything's being packed up into the storage unit. This has been planned for like literally 4 months, but actually more like 3 years, because I had this plan before the pandemic. And I'm going, this is a wrench in the plan. We cannot change this wrench. We cannot change the government's mind and say, can you please let me in, even though I don't have this special little document and I can't get it. That's not going to work. So the thing to do is stay calm. So I sat there, had 2 choco pies. Okay, it was the only thing on the counter, and I hadn't had breakfast. I felt like Brainy and his stress eating. I don't hardly ever stress eat, but this was probably the biggest stressor of the year. And I'm sitting there going, okay, we cannot go to this place. So let's go to the other place we were going to go to in December once we had stayed in the one place for a few months. It's like, okay. So I called the airline. I said, how much would it be if we went here? And they said, well, that'd be an extra $200. Plus you have to get about a $100 visa. And you have to wait about 7 to 10 days to get that visa. And you'd have to, then rent your apartment there. That's me talking, not the airline. And I'm like, all that added together is about $1,000. And it's not that I don't have that grand, but it's just that I don't want to use it that way when I'd already had my apartment picked out and my flight ordered. So I went, you know what? I'm not doing this right now. So I just put a stop on that. I contacted the visa company to say, okay, what is it really going to cost for this visa, basically, and how long is it going to take me? They cannot get it done in 10 days. So I was like, that flight's out. So I'm sitting there going, I'm not doing it. I'm not flying out of here to a place that I was going to fly to in December. In September, it's not in the plan. I haven't studied this place like I was going to, so I can make these fabulous videos and share them with you guys. And I'm just not prepared for this. And my college started yesterday as well. So I'm going, there's a lot going on. So let's minimize the damage of this news, which maybe isn't going to be as bad as you could take it as. So I was going, well, what are the positives? The positives is I was not landing in that country in the evening and finding out I couldn't stay, and then having to get back on a plane and figure out an Airbnb and my visa and all that in the middle of another country. And this is like not like I haven't really traveled that much. So I'm going, this is not a good way to broaden my international travel experience. So with that in mind, I was sitting there going, I have a friend in town. My friend just lost a roommate. My friend could use a roommate. I could ask my friend, since my apartment is being let go, if I could maybe be that roommate for maybe, a couple of months while I get my visa applied for. Actually, I need to apply for 2 visas because I'm staying in one country for a month. Then I'm going to another country for 1 to 3 months. So I have to apply for 2 different visas for those countries because the other country I was going to was visa-free, supposedly, and it didn't turn out that way. So I'm going 2.5 months. This gives me time to finish packing without having to worry about any of those visas for the next 10 days. I'm going, that's a big plus to me, or 9 days now. So I'm like, I'm not worrying about the visas. I'm not dealing with the flight transfer. I'm not booking the apartment in the next country. I'm just letting this set because I'm not going for 2.5 months. I'm going to do my studies. I'm going to teach English. I'm going to be a roomie at my friend's house. It will work out fine. And so with that in mind, I just sat there and was like, it's time to have an moment and to realize that even though this seems rather abrupt and shocking for me, who tries to plan life out to the nth degree, at least for, the next year, it's okay. There's nothing I can do to change it. You might as well accept it and go, what can you do? Well, I can finish packing at my house. That would be good since I have to be out of here soon. I can finish, getting things moved into my new apartment, which I really don't have to move that much. It's like my desk and my recording equipment, and that's kind of it, and my suitcases that were going to go with me. And of course, way too much ramen. But, that's all taken care of. It's really not that big of a deal. And then I can apply for my visa leisurely next month. Actually, my 2 visas leisurely next month. I can get my flight rigged around. And I also will be taking off with a lot more in my bank account by having waited 2.5 months than I would right now trying to scurry around getting this all done. So that's what I decided to do. Now, will I say that it's perfectly seamless? Will I say that, I'm still not a little stressed out about things? No, not at all. I will say that, I've been operating on very little sleep the last few nights because of packing everything up, getting things done, teaching English classes. It's been hectic. But the thing is despite it being hectic, I now have a plan. I had a plan within less than 24 hours. I sat there and went, pivot, what do we do? And I think, the thing about life is it's not what happens, it's how you react to it. Your response to whatever happens, to finding out that your ticket and apartment and everything is no longer valid because of this new doohickey. And I'm going, okay. Or, if life throws you a curveball, it's like, what is your response? That curveball you have no control over because it is just a curveball, the universe at large. But you do have control over how you handle it. And I think that is the lesson that really came home to me yesterday because I'm going, I have no control over the exterior influences. I have every bit of control over how I handle this. Am I going to stay calm? Am I going to come up with a solution before the evening time? Is this going to be sorted perfectly by the end of the day? No way. But is it going to be sorted to the point that I'm going, I have a plan, I know what to do now. Okay. And I think, at the end of the day, that is the key. It doesn't mean that, everything is all fixed and wonderful. But it does mean that for me right now in this moment, it's okay. It's like, my friend's like, Anna, are you totally stressed? I'm like, I was stressed yesterday when I found this out, but my flight will transfer. My apartment, they will give me next year when hopefully the borders open and I don't have to have this little special paper, which I cannot get. And it will all work out when it is supposed to. And, I think it's kind of like that quote, the wrong bus might get you to the right destination. And at the end of the day, the joy is in this moment. And if this moment is hectic, how are we going to find joy in the spite of that hecticness? It's like, I always think it's kind of pathetic how people are like, they say in certain circles, well, give thanks in everything, or give thanks for everything. I'm like, no, you don't give thanks for everything. And anyway, that whole section that comes from in the New Testament, it doesn't say give thanks for everything, because giving thanks for everything that life has happened would not make any sense. It says give thanks in all things. So in the middle of an absolute visa crisis, as it were, yesterday, I'm like, I'm not giving thanks for the visa crisis. I am not happy about this at all. But I am giving thanks that in the middle of this crisis, I have a friend who needed a roomie. I have a situation that it's all sorted within like 6 hours or less. And really, that's a huge, major deal. So that is my story about my visa interesting curveball that was thrown yesterday. And for those of you who have had similar curveballs, if you had something like this happen in the last few months, I would love to hear about it. I'm going to have our email address in the notes, so do send me an email or get in touch with us on Facebook if you like, and I hope to talk to you guys soon. Check it at the round table. Bye!